Hello and welcome to the live reality game podcast. My name is Steven and I'm back with more Surviving Reelfoot, the Decennium deep dive postseason content. And joining us today is the one, the only, Carl the King Davino. Carl, how are you doing?
Oh, hey man, how you doing? I came dressed in my good threads today. Oh hell.
I mean, I told you this a little in the chat before, but you had by far my favorite introduction video of all the new players. I was not prepared for that transition at the end, and I loved it, and that made me very excited to see you play.
Yeah, I figure we could start it off like that. I do have a shirt. I'm not going to do the whole interview like this, but I figured, what a way to start it off. I mean, there is some story behind the reason why I call myself King Carl. I just didn't just decide to call myself. Well, kind of did, but kind of, I've been playing orgs for quite a while, and at one point, I got a crown and I decided to start calling myself King Carl. And at one point, I started sending like winners of games. I'd send them crowns. You know what I mean? So like I've not only do I call myself King Carl, I've gotten a whole community to call me King Carl. So like it's kind of funny because like during the day I'm a carpenter, but then I come home and then I take a shower and then I transform, I turn on my computer and I transform into royalty and I become King Carl. It's wonderful, man.
So how did you get into orgs?
Oh, funny story. I'm a huge, like my absolute dream is to be on Survivor. Like that is my absolute like bucket list dream. And I was searching Survivor sites and I came across Survivor Online, as a matter of fact. And I didn't know what it was. I thought it was a Survivor like site, and it turned out to be like an org. And next thing I knew, I was playing, and next thing I knew, I was playing this and this and this and this, and it became an obsession, so to speak. You know what I mean? You don't mind? I'm gonna get out of this. It's a little hot.
By all means.
Oh, yeah.
and so you're playing a lot of orgs. How did you discover the live Survivor games, and what led you to say like, hey, I want to give this a shot?
All right. So honestly, well, I'm not really kidding. I just want to show you my shirt. My shirt also says, King Carl, especially made. So honestly, like, I was kind of done with orgs. Like, I don't know. There's just a lot that comes with orgs. A lot of connections, a lot of pre-mades, and that I wasn't too happy with. As a matter of fact, I got bit by that a few times. But my absolute dream is to be on Survivor. And, after years of applying for the show, I kind of wanted to know if I had what it takes, like, to do it. And be honest with you, Josh, who commented on it, I watched him play because I played an org with him. Me and him were good allies in one of the games, and I watched him play, and then I watched him play again, and I asked him some questions, and I don't know, something told me, I'm like, you know what, I want to try, and I applied for this season, and they absolutely loved me, I guess, and I mean, and I'm so glad I did. What a life-changing experience it was for me. I mean, and for many different aspects, it kind of tapped into a version of myself that I really didn't know existed. Going in, I was a heavy smoker, drank a lot, smoked a lot of weed. Not gonna lie, like let's not sugarcoat who I was, and I'm pretty proud and happy to say, I haven't smoked in 3 weeks. I haven't touched a drink. I don't smoke weed. And, and it's because I think I give a lot of credit to Reelfoot, and I give a lot of credit to Pete, as a matter of fact. Pete busted my balls the whole time. He chased me, while I was in that jury room. I was constantly running out of the room to have a cigarette. And he did threaten, I'm never casting a smoker like you again. And, that kind of hit. that kind of touched me a little bit because, like, I mean, I want another chance at this. Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
let's get right to the point. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I got some unfinished business that I have with Reelfoot. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to go sit here and sign up for 100 different LRGs. I want the Reelfoot crown. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I got my crown, but I want the Reelfoot crown. You know, and what an experience it was. And I'm so glad I did it. But that's kind of how I found it. I wanted to test myself. I wanted to know if I had it, if I had what it takes. And I think I surpassed that. I think I proved to myself and to a lot of other people that, you know, given the opportunity, I would kick ass on that island. You know what I mean? Or at least be one hell of an entertainer. I'd entertain the hell out of it. So I mean, there's that.
So you get cast in Reelfoot. What do you do to prepare?
Um, I work out, a lot of push-ups, little bit of weight training, and
Mhm.
I Pete constantly said walk. There's a lot of walking, so I walked a lot.
Mhm.
I walked around my subdivision every day. I walked 3 miles a day. I would try to walk at least, you know, to get myself ready
Mhm.
for what Pete said. You know, you got to be ready to walk, and I'm glad I did because man, did we have to walk a lot. Through mud, through rain, through you name it, we walked through it. So, you know, I'm kind of glad I did. Plus, my job is very physical, you
Mhm.
know, so I'm constantly on my feet all day. So, like, I mean, I was ready for the physicality. I think I said that right. Of this, I'm used to it. So, I mean, but that's what I did to prepare, and I did practice a few slide puzzles and stuff like that. You know, friends of mine told me, you know, you should really practice your slide puzzles and not play like Card Wars online. And I'm like, all right. So I started doing that, and I mean, I'm not a puzzle guy.
Mhm.
I'm more of a, more of a strength. A physical type of guy, but I did
Mhm.
practice. But you know, I was very honest with everybody. I'm like, listen, man, if you want me to do push-ups or stuff like that, I'm your guy. Your puzzles, I don't know if I'm your guy. Like, you know what I mean? So I never really had to do a puzzle part of it. I mean, you kind of saw, like, I'm sure you watched, like, anything that had to do puzzle wise. I kind of like blocked people from looking at what we were doing, and you
That's
know,
still important.
really, huh?
That's still an important part.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, but yeah, that's kind of how I prepared. I was getting myself ready mentally and physically, and you know, and other than that, I'm pretty tough. Like, I can handle anything. You know, I shared in my meet me video. You know, there was a part in my time in my life when I didn't have nowhere to go, and I had to figure out what I had to do. You know, I slept on park benches, I slept on couches, I couch surfed for a long
Mhm.
time. Sometimes it was outside, sometimes it was inside. So, you know, put me in a situation and I'll find a way to come out of it. So, you know, I know I had that going for me.
So you've played a lot of orgs. Coming into Reelfoot, did you have a strategy that you wanted to implement or things you wanted to do when you hit the ground?
I did, but I did the complete opposite of what my strategy was.
Okay, so
Like,
let's start with what you wanted to do, then we'll talk about what you ended up
well, I
doing.
just like I know me, like I'm so loud and I'm so in your face and I'm just
Mhm.
like and I'm so energetic, and I wanted to lay back and I just wanted to like just kind of stay behind the scenes, and but that's just not who I am. Like, I'm
Mhm.
just not that person. Like, I mean, honestly, like if you look at our final three, that's what they did.
Mhm.
They kind of they were kind of, they laid low a lot, and that's kind of what I wanted to do, but it's just not who I am. And then when our boots hit the ground, like, oh man, it was amazing to me. Like, it was like I wasn't just playing a game. Like, this wasn't just a game to me. This is like it was like my dream,
Mhm.
being out there. It felt like Survivor. It felt like, Amos was Jeff Probst, and you know what I mean? Like, it felt like I was in Fiji. So like, and I was like a little kid. Like, I was like a little kid at Christmas, I guess you could say, and it was just I couldn't contain myself, and I wanted to just, I was so happy to be there and so excited to be there that the whole being quiet and just laying behind the scenes went out the window like 2 minutes into it. So.
It's hard in those opening moments because it's so easy to be immersed in the game itself. You're like, here I am. I'm playing this.
Yeah, for sure.
So you arrive at Reelfoot. Before the game begins, you're able to kind of see some of the competitors as they arrive. Is there anyone that you notice that maybe you know of, or someone who's standing out to you for any reason?
So, going in to I drove there. I live in Tennessee, so it was a 5.5 hour drive for me, but I chose to leave on a Friday and go stay in a hotel. And I remember talking to my son the day right before I was headed to the site, and I'm like, and his name is Fred, and I was like, Fred, man, my biggest worry I was like, do you think it's gonna be like orgs, like where everybody knows each other, and you know what I mean? Like, cause I hate that. Like, I absolutely, cause like I hate connections. I hate people that are like pre-made stuff, like friend Viber, so to speak, because like outside of playing the game, like I have a life. So sometimes like after I finish a game, like I don't really stay in contact that great. I have my dog, I have my kids, my girlfriend, my job. So it's kind of, it's hard to do. So like that was my biggest fear, was like that. And he was like, no, it ain't gonna be that. But showing up to the site, I didn't notice anybody, but then I did. Like I noticed Danny. I knew who Danny was. Danny hosted me in a game, and then like like this, Tony caught my eye because I know Tony, and like for me, I'm gonna be honest with you, it didn't turn out this way, but that was worst case scenario for me. In orgs, me and Tony absolutely hated each other. Like he was like my absolute rival. Like I'm not gonna lie to you there. Like I'm like, oh shit, it's Tony. Like, and I wasn't sure, I couldn't place him, and then it came to who he was to me, and I'm like, fuck. Like, like me and we absolute, like we had some problems. Nothing. I guess just the way I am, and I rubbed him the wrong way. He rubbed me the wrong way. In an online setting. But I just kind of gave him a nod because that was the biggest connection that I needed. That's what I wanted, that connection to not be like it was online. So I kept like, hey, and I kept giving him a head nod, and not to let in that I knew him, but like, hey man, let's play it cool this time. And I'll get into like the actual talk we had. I'm like, dude, like it can't be this. It has to be. And it really did. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I have such a different perception of Tony now that I played this game with him. Like I absolutely think he's a great guy, and I'm so glad I got to share this experience with him. But going in, I was a little worried how that would work out.
Well, the game begins, and the two players you mentioned, Danny and Tony, both of them are on the green tribe, Akina. You land on the pink tribe, the Nankana tribe. So you are with Blake, Jeff, Jordan, Kiri, Maddie P, Sandra, Shauna, James, and Debbie. What's your reaction to this group of people you find yourself with?
I'm very social. That's one of the highlights of my game. I think is that best qualities of my game is that I can talk to a wall for 20 minutes, and have a good time. So I think I knew I'd be all right, but Carrie was somebody that I felt I connected with before they split us up. Like, I gave her a cigarette, and, we really didn't exchange any information, but I felt like, we had a good vibe. I'm covered in tattoos. She had tattoos. I felt like we had something there. I talked a little bit to everybody on the porch, but I was also like going 100 miles an hour, like, hey, blah, 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 just me being me. But I I really wasn't sure, but my biggest concern was not being the first boot. So the one thing I knew how to do was uh just just do stuff around camp. Like I never really camped like that, but
Mhm.
I'm a quick learner. Like I picked the machete up, I started chopping wood. I'm a carpenter, so
Mhm.
building the shelter was on my bucket list, and I basically took control of that. Like, don't get me wrong, Blake and everybody tried to help out, but I put a kibosh to all that, and I did it the way I wanted to do it. Like, and we'll get into like the me and the Blake thing, because me and Blake butt heads a lot of times during this game,
Mhm.
a few times on no kind of draft. But I mean, I liked everybody, and my main concern was just to be needed.
Mhm.
So like I had pretty good vibes from everybody. There was nobody that I really didn't like on the original tribe. I just wanted to make sure that I was liked. So, I tell jokes. Uh, I offered cigarettes to everybody. I just, whatever I could do to make sure I was liked. Uh, that was my concern on once we got to camp.
So how are those opening hours at camp?
Um, I mean, I went right to work, and that could be one of my downfalls. Is
Mhm.
that uh, while a lot of people were like conversating, I was dragging trees out of the woods. I was splitting
Mhm.
woods. And Minnesota, who is Shauna. Uh, I kept screwing her name up, so I call her Minnesota. That was my nickname for her. That's where she's from. You know, and I love the fact that like she got the fire started, I got the shelter going, and my thing was I would go get the wood for her and split the wood, and like I felt like that's a connection that was built right away.
Mhm.
And then like the carry thing was something I felt like I built right away. Everybody else, I really wasn't too sure about. I
Mhm.
felt good with them, but I just wasn't really sure. And after listening to a few people do
Mhm.
these, like Blake and Jordan
Mhm.
and James and Debbie as well, do their deep dive. I think I was spot on by picking those two people, to get close, the closest with. Those are the two people I was the closest with in camp. But I always stayed busy, and I always, I kept the fire going. She
Mhm.
got it started, but I definitely kept it going. I built the shelter. Anything that needed to get done around camp, I did. I was constantly moving. I have so much energy. I didn't know what to do with it, so I just kept going and kept going. And just part of my strategy was to do a lot. And so other people didn't have to do much, and they would keep me around because I did so much.
Mhm.
I mean, eventually it got me, because I think by merge, when I made merge, I still had some in the tank, but I was pretty spent. Like,
Mhm.
I put a lot of energy out in the beginning. I'm both, no whatever, the Pink Tribe and
Nankana, yeah.
Okina. I just kept going and just tried to make myself needed
Mhm.
there on both sides.
I want to segue a little bit and talk about some of the twists of the season and just get into that. What's your philosophy in idols and advantages? Are you actively looking for them? Is there
Right
something
from
you
the start.
want?
Right from the start.
Okay.
I was out getting wood, and I was looking in trees, under trees. And
Mhm.
a lot of the trees had holes in them. And I
Mhm.
swear that's where they would be. I was digging through them. Man, I found termites and all types of shit in there. But I was constantly actively looking for idols from the minute we started walking to camp. Like
Mhm.
uh I knew they were going to be out there, and knowing the type of player that I figured I would be, I figured I might need one. Uh, and I would much rather have it than anybody else have it,
Mhm.
and I mean, it worked out that way too. I mean, you know,
And we'll get into
it was
that.
there.
Um, You learned that fire tokens are going to be a part of your season. Everyone starts with the fire token. What were your initial thoughts about fire tokens?
I thought it was a pretty cool thing. You know, I'm a pretty big Survivor fan. I can't really tell you like what happened in every season, like, but I've watched every season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 100%. I couldn't tell you, like who won this season, that season.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know that, but I do know players, and I think I've seen them at one point, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, even playing some orgs, they had like fire tokens, which I thought was always cool. Like, so I mean, I was pretty excited about that. That was pretty neat. I got a few.
Oh, okay. Those are good. That's a good memento to hold on to.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see behind me. I have all my stuff. I have my immunity necklace, my idol, my 3 buffs, my name, and of course I have Lucille because like I carried this I think more than anybody else. I called the tribal immunity Lucille, you know, and I kissed her every time we won her. So you know I had to come home with her.
You also learned that your season's going to have redemption. What are your thoughts on? What were your thoughts on that?
I hate it. I hate redemption.
Okay.
I absolutely hate it because, like, I mean, I'm happy that people got another chance, but honestly, like, as someone that didn't have to use it, take for instance, Maddie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we voted Maddie out. Like,
he comes right back in.
We voted him out, and he came back and he won the game. Like, so that's I'm not a big fan of redemption.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, worked out for Maddie, wonderful, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I never seen the camp, but they were living the life of luxury over there,
Yep.
you know.
Chateau Frank.
Yeah. But
because it was definitely a bad break for your Okina alliance that the 2 people who came out went straight to the other alliance. You're just like, uh-oh.
No, 100%. And 100%. Like, I know we all cheered when Maddie came back, but I knew deep down like he was never coming back. And like honestly, like, and not to jump way ahead, but I mean the Okina tribe. I mean, the way I looked at it is we were all huge threats,
Mm-hmm.
like in the game, and we all linked up together. And I think deep down, Maddie, it knew if he wanted a chance to win, he probably couldn't sit next to one of us,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. Not that I would beat him or all, but I think we were. I was a more in your face. I think Tony's a strong player. I think Melissa's an absolute strong player. Trinica and Ethan. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
think all 5 of us were just big players,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe as much as I didn't want to, as much as it sucked, I believe he made the right choice by
Mm-hmm.
picking us off one by one, and you know. So
yeah, in retrospect, looking at redemption, who would you have wanted to come back? I mean, granted, if it's not Matty P, you're getting Jeff or Blake. Do you have it? Do you of the 3,
Blake.
which male contender would you have liked to see?
I think I would like to saw Blake just because
Mm-hmm.
The Pink Tribe absolutely pissed him off, and like he was somebody I think that would have came to us. And apparently Melanie, I never worked with Melanie, but Melanie would have been good for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Agreed.
I thought Minnesota would have been good for me, but the other Okina didn't. You know, they didn't feel too good about her.
Yeah.
You know, I love Minnesota. Like, you know, that's, you know, one of the biggest mistakes I think I made was, you know, voting her.
I mean, so and so why do you think Shauna was targeted at that merge show? Because I figured like of the original Pink Tribe, she would probably seem the most valuable because she just got voted out by that Pink Tribe. So she would have been like someone you maybe could have worked with further down the road.
I felt so come merge. Like I said, I was pretty spent.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't sleep well, like pretty much like merge feast that night. That was the first time I slept the whole night, like through. I slept for 10 minutes at a clip, 10 to 5 or whatever. I just couldn't sleep. I was I exerted a lot of energy, and challenges and getting firewood, splitting
Mhm.
firewood, like and no sleep. So like I was a little bit delusional, one would say, and
Mhm.
maybe even seeing things. There was one point in Okina when I swear, and it wasn't just me. I think Melissa and Trinica both saw somebody like right before they came to get us for merge. I swear I saw people walking, and I wasn't the only one. They saw it too. Like so, we were
Mhm.
kind of shocked. Like so, I
Okay,
went,
so it's definitely
yeah,
hallucinating.
definitely LSD. Yeah. So when we merged, like I was more concerned about getting the fire going because I love
Mhm.
playing with fire, and I got the fire going, and I really didn't have many conversations. Probably should have had more.
Mhm.
But I also felt like I was in a decent spot uh, because I did have the my original Pink Tribe members there, and I did have the Okina that I was with. So I didn't really know that I needed to talk that much. Plus, like I wasn't trying. I was kind of tired, and when when um when Minnesota went home, like I was just kind of told like the vote's Minnesota, and I'm like, whatever. Like, and I didn't really think nothing of it. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like,
Mhm.
let's just get to the next round. And I mean, granted, I could have probably tried something else
Mhm.
or talked to Minnesota a little bit more.
Mhm.
Maybe made something else happen, but um, I, I trusted the Okina members a lot more than I necessarily trusted everybody else. Although I think my biggest fuck up, so to speak, in this game was I put too much trust in Carrie. Uh,
Mhm.
and like and that's something I do want to talk about. I don't know if but like you know, if she flips over with us, which I thought she was going to, it's a whole different game.
Yeah.
I mean, she was in a very, a lot of people. I heard Ethan say that Matty P was the swing vote. I think it was her
Mhm.
because I put I to me that was my absolute number one, my ride or die in this game. Like
Mhm.
we hit it off right from the beginning, and I never thought in a million years she would write my name down. And I definitely wasn't going to write her name down like ever.
Mhm.
And if she votes out German or whatever, it's a whole new game. And I didn't try to pursue like in my vote off, like I didn't never tried to pursue any other outlets because I could have swore she would have, I would have put my life on it that she would have voted with me or at
Mhm.
least told me that it was me or something. But
Yeah.
I mean, game is game, but like that one tore me up a little bit because I
Mhm.
just I just didn't expect it. But uh, Minnesota, maybe I should have put more, the trust I put in Curry
Mhm.
into Minnesota. There's other things that I've thought about since.
Well, like you said, it's hard because you swap on morning day 4, and you spent the last 2 days with the Sokina alliance and really working
Yeah,
yourself into that alliance. So it's hard to say, like, yeah, I'm just gonna jump ship to this
yeah,
other
like I
alliance
was,
and people I don't know.
yeah. No, I was like I didn't know. Like I never worked with Charlie. I never worked with German. I never worked with Hannah.
Hmm.
Like, and I believe that's it, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody else, I was with Sandra. I worked with Curry. I worked with um, who else was there? I don't know.
Um, Sandra Carey. Sorry, I should know this. So Maddie. So it's Maddie P,
Maddie was
Sandra,
never.
Carey,
Yeah,
and Shauna from your original tribe, were the only
yeah,
other people emerge.
yeah. So like, I was really banking. Like, and I told Tony, like, I would tell Tony, I'm like, Tony, man, she like with Carrie, I'm like, she's coming over with us. She's
Mhm.
gonna work with us, and like, so like when we lost Maddie, when we had to vote out Maddie, and like, there was other plans too, like if because Maddie was thought to have an advantage,
Mhm.
turned out he had nothing. But if he played an advantage, we were gonna 3-2-1 it. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Or some way,
Yeah.
just and like I would have been safe no matter how. that played out with them. So I don't know. Tony told me, because he spent some time on the Pink Tribe, before he mutinied,
Yep.
that, listen, she's not with you. I'm like, oh no, she is. Come to find out, I should have probably listened to him. I had no idea that she wanted to play Friendviver instead of Survivor, so to speak. With the German thing, like I had no clue about. And we can get into that too, like a little bit, like you know, like when German went to I guess when she went to get that idol, and German kind of took it from her. I swear, I mean, I said something to him, 2-3 times, you know what I mean, about it, because I didn't think it was right, and it made me feel like an idiot almost, because I stood up for her, and then she sided with him and voted him out and voted me out, So I kind of took that the wrong way, but like it is what it is, I mean, game is game, and you gotta, she thought she was gonna get farther than she did, and little did when she got rid of the threats, guess what? She became the threat. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, I do feel like if she would have made a choice to come with me, come on our side, I believe there was a good chance that we could have went pretty deep in the game, and I would 100% chose her, like to go all the way with. It was, the feelings weren't mutual, and I don't hold no hard feelings. And it just hurt. It just stung a little bit because I just didn't expect it. It's weird. You spend some time in the woods with people you don't know, but you grow. You just you don't expect it. Like you don't expect it. So like that one kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But I mean, it is what it is. Like,
So talk a little bit about working with Kiri, because at least from talking with other people on your original Ancana tribe, you're the main person working with Kiri. That's what I get from talking with other people.
And that's what yes. So on the original Ancana, whatever it was, yes, Curry was my number one. Matter of fact, I tried to push Curry and Minnesota together. Like I wanted that. Like as a matter of fact, I kind of like, listen, you guys should talk. Like I kind of pushed that because those were my two people that I wanted to work with there. And I don't know. I think we just I kind of felt like we hit it off more or less. I think. I mean, the tattoos, stuff like that. I don't know. And I felt like she would be like, because I'm a snake. Like, I want to do some dirty shit in the game, and I felt like she would too. Little did I know she did the dirty shit to me. But anyway.
So you were right about that assertion.
I would have loved, that's what I felt with her. I'm like, well, I don't like playing a boring game. And you could see that, like, I voted Jeff off with no problem. Like, that was my idea. Like, I went to Melissa with that. I'm like, listen, we came back after we lost. And I'm like, listen, before you say anything, let's vote. I want to vote off Jeff. Yeah, you know what I mean? And they were like, really? And I'm like, yeah, please. And so, like, I don't like playing. I don't like boring games. I didn't want to just play pink versus green. Like, I didn't want to play that game. I also, call it a vibe. In my first confessional of the game, there's something about Jeff just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I kind of, I pay attention. Like, one of the things I do is maybe it's from my life, situations in my life. I always pay attention to my surroundings. I always, I may look like I'm running around and doing this, but I'm always paying attention, and I'm always looking and see who's talking to who. And, and I felt like Jeff and Sandra and, even like, we're super tight, and there's something about him that I just didn't trust. Like, I love the guy. Like, he's a strong competitor. I loved him, but there was something that I felt, I don't know. And I had the opportunity and I took it. Could it have been a little early? Maybe, but like, I wanted to, I didn't want to play a boring game. Like I didn't want to just, okay, let's pick off this person. Let's pick off Melissa. Let's pick off Trinica. No, that's not what I wanted to do. And I didn't feel the only people I felt good with on the Pink Tribe was really good with was Curry and Minnesota. And like Jordan, yes, but hearing her speak, I wasn't like, number one to her either. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was just there for her. She liked other people more than she liked me. So, Sandra, like I love Sandra because she was older, but I don't know. I didn't really catch good vibe. Like, I don't know. It's just call it a feeling, but I didn't feel like she was going to ride it out with me either. So, when I got to Okina, man, did I feel like I was home. Like I really did. Like I loved Melissa, Tony, Trinica, and Ethan. And Maddie. And Maddie. Like Maddie's another one. Like Maddie, me and Maddie had this talk in our tent in the shelter. And it was probably the realest conversation I had this whole game. Like, and we didn't talk game at all. We just talked, like, and got to know each other. Like, like not for nothing. Like, I didn't know Maddie was gay. Like, I had no idea. Like, and he told me, and I was like talking, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gay." I'm like, "Get the hell out of here!" Like, I couldn't, like, I didn't know. Like, and I told him things about me. He told me things about him, and it was just there was no game talk. It was just us talking about talking about each other to each other. And it was probably the realest conversation I had the whole game. And I was happy he came with me. I wasn't too happy about the swapping with Jeff. Jordan, yes, but like you saw what happened after I voted Jeff off. Like I pissed everybody off in the game. Like I was like public enemy number one at that point.
So let's say you swap, but you still have Melissa, Trinica, and Ethan. Let's say you swap with Shauna, you swap with Kiri, and you swap with Maddie P. What do you do? Are you flipping a Maddie P at that point, or?
That's difficult. That's difficult because those are my three favorite people from the Pink Tribe. So I think I stay Pink strong, and I had the idol in my pocket too. Melissa had one too, but I still had mine. So I think in a situation like that, I don't go Melissa. And me and Melissa had a little thing, right from the beginning. We went to the outpost, me, Blake, Melissa, and Trinica, and it was me that convinced them to give us the token. Like,
talk to me about that outpost visit. You and Blake are going with Melissa and Trinica after that first reward challenge, and there's some negotiations, right? Because there's a tarp there, there's some rice there. There's ketchup.
Yeah. But, I jumped right in. I was like, "Hey, listen, give us 2 tokens."
Which I was like, man, that's pretty brazen to hear someone do that from so early.
Well, I didn't care. Like I knew what I wanted, and I saw it. I'm like, let's make it fair. Give me 2 tokens. We'll go to Rocks for it. And I even offered them a pack of cigarettes. They're like, we don't smoke. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, we're so, and Blake just kind of stood there, and I did all the negotiation really, and I kind of got like I got him to give us the token for the rice, but I knew in my head that I had something with those 2, with Trinica and with Melissa. Given the opportunity, and I was given the opportunity, and like the one thing I never shared that with Curry or Minnesota. I didn't share that with anybody. Blake's the one. Blake, I love Blake and all, but he got a big mouth. Like he don't know how to be quiet about nothing. I love the guy. No disrespect at all, but like I'm not for nothing, but like on the way back from that. He was like, we'll tell them they spent 10 and we paid 6 for the rice. And I'm like, why? Like, why are we going to just lie to them about how much the tarp was? Like, it's like I get it. You got to lie in Survivor, but I think it's stupid because why would we lie to them about how much the tarp costs? I mean, that's a stupid lie. And I said, but if that's what you want to do, that's what we'll do. But I never agreed. I didn't agree with it. But I went with it because that's what he wanted to do. But I felt like it was kind of silly. Like, why am I going to lie and tell him the tarp was 10? Like, it doesn't make sense. Just tell them it was 8. What's the big deal?
Mm-hmm.
Just don't tell them they give us a token. That's all we have to lie about. We don't have to lie about how much the tarp was. That was his idea. And I was tried to talk him out of it, but there might be something on video. I'm not sure of. I think it's stupid, but I guess we'll go with it. At the end of the day, like, I mean, whatever it was, whatever. I just thought it was silly. But come to find out, he ran right and told people about the extra token and everything right away. Which, I mean, sounds like Blake to me. But I wish. I mean, I also heard, as soon as they swapped, he blew up my idol like that. So I mean, and we can get into the fact. We can get into it. I think he stole my socks that I was searching for, and he showed up to the first challenge wearing my shirt, one of my shirts. I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? And then he wants cigarettes after that.
There's a lot of borrowing of clothes this season. That's what I'm seeing.
Well, borrowing. I don't know that it was borrowing. More or less taking, but it is what it is. Like, I got everything back, I got it back. But I mean, I love Blake. I just feel like he just couldn't keep his mouth shut, and I feel like we butt heads because he wanted to feel like he wanted to be. He wanted to be in control, and it's not that I wanted to be in control. I just think some of my ideas were better, so to speak. You know what I mean? And I mean, like the stretcher challenge. That was his idea to use the tarp, but I was kind of pissed off because I spent a lot of work building that shelter, and you just ripped it down. Like, in the way that I would have built it, would have worked just as good. You know what I mean? Like, we wouldn't have lost. We would have still won if we would have built it my way and still had a shelter. Like, I spent a lot of work. I put a lot of work into building the shelter, and I didn't want to rip it down. But that's what he wanted to do. And at the end of the day, like, I didn't come there to argue with people. So I was just like, whatever, dude. Like, we'll do it. And it worked out. But now we have no shelter. Thank God it didn't rain, because if it rained, we had nothing to hide under, because we were just laying on a tarp at that point. But it is what it is. It worked out. I'm happy.
Talk to me a bit about James, because he's a player we haven't really heard you talk much about. What was being on the tribe with James like?
I love James, but I think James wanted to be like in control way too much. Like, he wanted to be like the leader, and I never really wanted to be the leader. I think I just assumed the role in a way. I kind of just took and I never, that wasn't my intention.
You just took the crown.
I wanted to lay low. I told you I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to lay low. Like, I wanted to pull like a Curry move, like Curry. She she just she'd bring me a couple sticks and stuff like that for the fire, but she really didn't do much. And that's what I should have done. Or like a Jordan. Jordan didn't do much either. Or Sandra, like, they didn't do much around camp. I wish I would have took that role, but I didn't. And because that's not who I was. But James, I love James, and I loved having James around because I knew the type of player and character I was. And it's hard for me to hide behind people, but I can hide behind James because James was just like, he was over the top. And I loved the hell out of him. And like, our first vote off, they wanted to vote James, and I said absolutely not. Like, and I don't know what this means, but you heard everybody, like, they were worried about keeping me happy. You know what I mean? Like, multiple people said this, so, like, I'm not making this up. And I wanted Debbie. Unfortunately, like, I love Debbie, but like, our conversations weren't that great. They were always the same. They were just kind of like, generic, so to speak. And being a strong competitor in myself, I like to have James look like he would be a strong competitor. And plus, he was somebody I felt that would always go before me. You know what I mean? So I felt like I could hide behind him. And there was a moment that I love James. Like, I absolutely think he's a wonderful person. And I have talked to James outside the game, and I think he's a great person. There was a moment for me that flipped everything on my whole, turned everything like, screw it, let's vote him out. It was when Minnesota was having a day. She was having a day. She couldn't get the fire started, and she was overwhelmed, and she was crying. And I do try to, as tough, as rough as I look or whatever, I'm a big teddy bear, and I want people to be happy. I don't want people to cry. And I was trying to console her, as were everybody else on the tarp. On the tarp that was now on the ground because we took the shelter down. But anyway, we're consulting her, and he's over there with the machete, and I wish somebody would help me, and swearing and like making this big old fit. And I'm like, dude, like, what's your problem? Like, at the end of the day, I'm taking a break. I'm doing a good majority of like the work, like splitting wood, getting wood. I'm taking the blunt of all that. For once, I'm resting a little bit, and I'm trying to console Minnesota, and you're bitching and moaning because you have to do a little work. Man, I'm tired just like you. You know what I mean? And it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And that's when I was like, screw it. Like, there's no more. I'm not saving you no more. I would have maybe liked to take Blake out before him because of the fact that obviously Blake, if you heard Blake talk, Blake wanted me out right from the start, So, and nothing personal against Blake, but James was just somebody. Blake is very charismatic, and I feel like he could definitely get people. James was just blunt and in your face, and I loved it because so was I, and I could hide behind that. And the longer he's around, the safer I felt, so to speak. And but when James had that breakdown, and with nobody helping out because he had to do a little work. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and like it was just like, screw it, like, let's just vote him, And I'm not saying I had any type of power or control on this, but a lot of people were coming to me, and they asked me what I wanted to do, and basically that's the way things went. So, I did show James how to use the machete. I did because I felt like he was using it wrong. I showed him a better way. He used it. Yes, I did enjoy just throwing that machete just right in the ground. Like, I enjoyed just sticking it in the ground, and he cut himself because I did that. I did feel bad, about that, but he seems all right after he came back from medical, and it's only a little scratch.
You mentioned with Debbie that you felt your conversations were generic. Was it just surface level, or there wasn't strategy being involved?
There was no strategy. There was none. It was more or less with Deb. With Deb, it was like it was rainy. It was shitty weather. She stayed under the tent, and she complained a lot about the ticks, about a rash, about this, about that. And, hey, listen, I don't know, the bugs are here with me too. Like, it's just like, we're here. Like, it is what it is. Like, it can't do like, like, I don't know. It's just every time, like, she's go, so how you doing? Or whatever, and there really wasn't much game talking. I don't know. It's just a vibe. It's, I have nothing. I don't dislike anybody. Like, I really think she's a wonderful person. And I was able to talk to her a little bit after the game. And I still think she's a wonderful person. I felt, for me, moving forward in this game, I felt it was better for me to not necessarily keep the tribe strong, which was what I said, but it was better for me to have James there because James was a hot mess. Like, he was all over the place. You know what I mean? And I am in your face, loud, obnoxious. That's just who I am. But James was doing a great job of doing that too. So,
was Debbie your ideal first boot?
What's that?
Was Debbie the ideal first person for you to vote out of your tribe?
For me, she was. For me, and like no disrespect to her at all. And it really didn't have to do with challenge strength. Like it really had to do with I felt my the way I took the talks. The talks weren't great for me. With James, at least they were a little better, and I wanted to keep him. And but really, it's anybody but me. You know, that's one of my fears is being a first boot, and I didn't want to do that, and unfortunately, somebody had to be in. You know, it sucked. Like I didn't want any of us to go, but for me, that was probably the best move. To move forward in the game.
I want to
And
talk about.
and it did work out. Like we won
Yeah.
2 in a row. We could say 3 because I won the third. I won the third. We could say 3. So I mean,
I want to backtrack a little bit to a moment in day 2. You've lost the vertical table maze. James and Sandra go to the outpost with Charlie and Tony. James and Sandra come back and they share something with the tribe. Can you talk me through this? For what happened?
All right. So you want to call it an out-of-body experience, you can call it whatever. So they read the thing. Now I remember exactly where I was. I think Curry was over here. I think Sandra, I don't know if Sandra was looking pretty out. Maybe Minnesota. We're in the tent, and maybe even Jordan. We're in the tent, and they read it in front of us. As soon as they read it, Jeff, Sandra, everybody, they ran to the flag. Blake, everybody ran to the flag. And I just sat there for a minute, and they're moving stuff around, and nobody can find it. And I said to myself, that motherfucker, I said, it's buried in the ground right under the center of the flag. Now, I thought to myself, and I'm like, they're going to get it. And I'm like, screw it, I got to try. And I just got up, and I ran right to the middle, stuck my hand in the ground, and pulled it out, like instant. Something told me, I don't know, like I shared, my father passed away right before this happened, you know, and playing this game was more like I shared, it was more than a game. You know, I needed some closure with that. I needed some closure with, so like being there and just being away from all the outside noise, you know, just being in the middle of the woods. I think he directed me to it. He took me to it, you know, and I truly believe that. You know, my father was with me, you know, when I played the game. You know, I think he took a little nap when I got voted out from us, you know, but I believe he was with me, you know, and I just something just told me when they read the clue, and it's like, oh, and I was like, that'd be nice to have. And then I watched them, and they weren't digging. They were just moving stuff over here and over here. Nobody was in the center. And if they did, they just went across. And I said to myself, I said, it's buried underneath the center of the flag. And I'm just like, screw it. I'm just going to, and I just went up and I just kind of like pushed people out of the way and just put my hand in the ground, and I had it. Do I wish it wasn't a public idol? But I wore it well. Like, I didn't care, you know, like at the end of the day, here it is. Like, I got it. Like, it's mine. And if anybody's going to have a public idol, it's probably better for the whole tribe that I had it more than anybody else. Because I just don't care. Like, here it is. You know, did I lie to the tribe? Yes. Oh yeah, it's a tribe. It's an idol for all of us. Honestly, it was an idol for 3 of us. It was an idol for me, Kerry, or Minnesota, and that was it. You know, like I would have played. If they tried to vote out Kerry, I would have played an idol for her. If they would have tried, and the first tribe, if they would have had a, you know, vote out Minnesota, I would have played an idol. Anybody else, I was willing to let go. Bless you.
Thank you. So were you tempted to play that idol at the Debbie or James vote?
No.
Okay.
No, because I voted for both of them. It would have been stupid.
But you felt confident no one was coming after you because you had the idol.
Yes, I felt super safe. Like on the Pink Tribe, I wasn't going nowhere. I would have been. I don't think I would have went anywhere on the Pink Tribe. I felt super safe, and I felt like Minnesota or Kerry would have told me, you know, what they had my back on that tribe. And Jordan, I felt like me and Jordan and Maddie. I can't forget about Maddie. Like, you know. Me and Maddie shared that special moment, I believe, in the tent, in the shelter, and I believe Maddie would have had my back. I think I think there was a reason why I after Tony played his idol successfully, they came after me. Um, I believe, I think I rubbed Maddie the wrong way when I lied to him about the Jet vote, and then I voted him out, and he wasn't happy that he thought that he had numbers on me when he went home, and I put the work in. I put more work in than he did on that Okina tribe, and that's why Tony and Melissa were probably never going to write my name down like this whole game, and that's Triniga, Triniga. I don't know. Ethan eventually he would have and that's the funny thing about like that whole tribe is like we would have, and I know like I've called the final six boring, and they weren't boring. I mean, they did what good for them. But the Okina, we would have ate each other. We would have took each other out. Like we weren't gonna go six. Like we eventually, and I feel like Ethan would have flipped first, and Trinica would have flipped with Ethan, and it would have been a more mixed up game. And that's when I say boring, that's what I mean. It wouldn't have been okay. Let's go to final six and take each other out. No, we would have started doing that like almost instantly. Not instantly, but we would not have made it to six. You know what I mean? Like we would have definitely started taking each other out. So when I kudos to them for doing it. But like that's just not like I don't know. When I say boring, that's to me. To me, that's
cannibalism at its finest.
She knows. She absolutely knows. I'm absolutely right on this. Like we weren't gonna go six. We were definitely gonna mix it up a little bit. Like and I think for me the key to that was Carrie, and she had her connections with German that I had no clue about, and it got her to 5. You know what I mean? But me and Charlie had a good talk. Charlie came to me and we were both talking and we were like, listen, there's obviously two sides. Why don't we come together and start picking apart each side? Now, walking to tribal the day that I got voted out, Charlie came to me and I was told, and to my understanding, him and German were tight. Could I truly believed that Kerry was going to vote with me. So I didn't feel like I needed to tell him. And so I was going to use that for the next round. Maybe I tell him, you vote German this round, we'll vote out of green. Now, and I mean this in the nicest way because I loved Okina, but I was willing to sacrifice, Ethan or maybe Ethan first, but Ethan and Trinica were people that I probably would have been willing to sacrifice, that I would have given to him the next round, and I would have, but that would have, we would have then became, jumping back and forth. Would that have worked? I don't know because I don't know where Kerry stands, and I don't know where Sandra stands in that situation. Like Sandra was supposed to talk to me before they voted me out. But she told me I was painting the flag. I believe she never attempted to talk to me because I was the vote. But you know what I mean? Like she didn't want to interrupt me painting. No, interrupt me, please, because like
I don't want to go home.
Yeah, please interrupt. Like I'm painting a flag that has no meaning to me because you're just voting me out. Like, you know what I mean? So, but I don't know why. I don't know why I felt I was connected with everybody besides the Hannah, German, and Charlie, but I felt me and Charlie were building something. Me and German, we butt heads a little bit because he tried to take Kerry's idol, and I tried. I thought Kerry was my ride or die, like I did, and like I watched the whole thing happen. Like I was sitting here, they were over there. Like part of me was like, get up and get it. Like just get up and get it. Because I saw the blue string. I saw her get up before she even touched it. I saw the blue string for the idol. Like, and I'm like, that's the idol. And I'm like, oh, screw it. Carrie's got it. So let her get it. Like, that's good for her to get it. But then she put her bag down and German took it. I was like, oh, man. And like that bothered me a little bit because, like, you know, but that was the conversation. We had a conversation right there at Tribal, and then we sat down and we had another conversation back at camp. And I'm like, I don't care if it was hers or anybody else's. Her hands were on it. It was wrong. Like, she just tried to whatever. And I said, as a man, you got to understand it. And did I have anything to do with him giving it back to her? I don't know. Maybe not. Or maybe it was like, I didn't know they were so well connected. Like, I didn't know they knew each other. Like, they kept that pretty under the wraps, and good for them. But like, that's the whole friend Vira thing that I hate. You know,
Did that
put a lot
out in the game, or was that post game that you learned?
She told me after she got voted out. You know, like, and I mean, and did I do a lot of things? Like, she told me a lot of things. Like, she liked potato chips. She liked this. She liked that. So, you know, I would go to Tribal and bring potato chips and make a lot of noise with that potato chip bag. You know, and I wouldn't even look at her, and it was all done purposely. Like, I knew, like, but like deep down, like I was watching, like, and like, in a way, like, she was doing well, like, she was winning immunities, and like, I was like, and I went back and forth with Melissa about this, like, you know, after Melissa was voted out, you know, and you know, I was like, I'm so mad at her, but yet I'm so proud of her for, you know what I mean, like, so like, I wanted her to, like, I knew, like, she would have probably won the game if she could have got there. But the problem was she got rid of all the threats. Yeah. And you know, and once she got rid of the threats, like I said, you know, she became the threat. And she could have hid behind us and probably done the same things. Like, I think she would have had a chance to win the game with us as well. She did tell me that Tony and Melissa didn't really talk to her much about it. You know, is it true? Is it not true? I don't know. You know, I'd love to hear her. You know, I know what she told me, but I would love to hear what she tells you. Because like, that's the truth. Yeah. You know. But
I'm going to take you back in time a little bit to the gross food challenge, because that was a challenge that you end up winning for individual immunity early on. Talk to me about your love of Thousand Year Egg and other gross food items.
All right. So, I had a bucket list coming in here, and I checked everyone, but winning the game, winning an immunity challenge, individual was one of my bucket lists, and I have this weird ability. I can just swallow things. Like,
sounds useful for a survivor game.
Yeah, I don't really need to chew things, and one of the things we got to do was watch the other tribe go first, and I had my eyes like on Tony a little bit. You know what I mean? I like, everybody like chewing like the baby food and whatever, and I'm like, well, you can't do that. I'm like, and you gotta swallow it, like, and that's what I did, you know, and. I mean, it was a little messy, and I had to lick it off the table and stuff like that. But then the tofu came, and same thing, just swallow, and I was able to do that. And then, like, at this point, like, I'm locked in. Like, I am in an out of body experience, I would like to say, you know, and I'm like, screw it, whatever they give me, I'm just swallowing. I don't even care what it is at this point. You know, and they brought worms, and I'm like, oh, screw it, you know, put them down. I'm watching Blake. Blake is my Blake is my problem, I felt. But then they brought that egg out, and I'm like, well, I'm in it to win it. You know, like, there's no turning back at this point. Like, second place is the first loser. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, like, and I wanted it so bad that I looked at the egg, I touched it. I'm like, screw it. And I broke it in half, and I threw it down my throat. I swallowed it. Part of it touched my throat, and I gagged a little bit.
Mm.
And I was like, good. I shook it off and I shoved the other piece down and I swallowed it. And I did it so fast. And I don't care what James says. There was nobody beating me eating that egg. Nobody. Okay. I ate it in 15 seconds. Okay. There was nobody that was going to beat me in that challenge. I was locked in, and I always thought, like, and even Real Survivor, if CBS, if they ever had a food eating challenge, I would do great in that too. I don't care what you put in front of me. I just swallow it whole. It doesn't matter. Like, and plus, like, I'm not afraid to eat anything. Like, nothing grosses me out. So, I mean, I won, and I was super pumped about it. And I mean, I checked off a bucket list. Like, I did get emotional with a few things. I got emotional when I found that idol. I got emotional when I won that immunity necklace. And I got them with me. I made sure I got those in the auction. Is like I built shelter. That was a bucket list. I got fire. That was a bucket list. I found an idol. I did the immunity. I made merge. The only thing I didn't do was win. The one thing I did learn, somebody told me, you don't have to wear the crown to be a winner. And man, is that so true? Because, like, man, one of the things I wanted to do the most was leave my mark. Like, I wanted to leave my mark on this game, and I believe I did that. Times 10. Like, when you think of this season, yes, you think of Matty P, you think of Carrie, you think of Charlie, you think of Sandra, you think of all the people on the cover. But I do think there should have been a seventh person on the cover, because I think I left my mark as well. You knew I was there. You knew King Carl Davino played this season. Like, everybody knew. You know what I mean? And I didn't realize how big I was until after the game, and I was able to read, like, the stuff that was people were saying, the messages I got and this and that, and people telling me how proud, and just family, friends, people I don't even know rooting for me, and the messages just were nonstop when I came out, and, like, people that I don't even know, you kicked ass. I was rooting for you. I'm so proud of you. You know what I mean? It's just even people I know, people from org, family members that I had watching, friends that I had watching, just they just it brought a tear to my eye, because like, at the end of the day, like, I came out here because I needed to prove to myself that I could do it, and, like, and I did, you know what I mean? And I did. And there's a couple things I did wrong. You live and you learn. I played that idol wrong. Given the opportunity, maybe I keep that. Maybe I can save Minnesota. And maybe we can vote out maybe a Sandra, maybe a Charlie, or you know what I mean? Maybe not. But I didn't know. I knew I was flipping, and I didn't know what Jeff played. Like, when he played a shot in the dark, I had no idea what that was. And then Melissa played her idol, and I'm like, oh fuck, like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be safe too. You know what I mean? Like, and yes, I played it wrong, but I also guaranteed myself another spot. Did I need to play it? No. Should I have played it? No. My friends all bust my balls, about playing it wrong. I've had a few idols in orgs, and I played maybe one or two right. I've gone home with a couple. I played a couple wrong. It's my MO. I don't know. I love having them, but it's also it's also a lot to have it, because it's just added stress. But I'd rather have the stress than not have the stress of having it, because I love those idols. They're so powerful.
So it sounds like it was a reaction to seeing some of the other advantages come out of the play.
It was totally a reaction play. Like, oh my, I had no idea what Jeff played. I didn't know that he played a shot in the dark. Lack of sleep, whatever. He played something. Melissa got up and played something. And I'm like, fuck it, I got one too. Like, I want to play something too. Like, like, I don't know. Like, I didn't want to get stuck with it in my pocket. I could 100% saved it. And, like, I think I could have saved it all the way to that merge vote. And I think I could have made something happen with, like, if I would have got Minnesota, like, hey, Minnesota, because I think Tony would have played an idol, right? I would have played an idol on. If I would have had the idol, I could have played my idol on Minnesota, and then
Sandra goes out.
Sandra goes out, or Hannah goes out, or someone probably either Hannah or Sandra, whatever she would want to do. So you know what I mean. But that's all hearsay. That's not what happened or at all what is ever going to happen. But it's you always what ifs once the game is over. There's always that. But
it's the favorite. That's the best part of the game is all the what ifs.
Yeah. What if I did this? What if I did that? You didn't. So I played my idol wrong. It is what it is. I had it. At least I had it. You know what I mean? At least I found one. There's not a lot of people that could say that they found an idol in Reelfoot. There's only a select handful of us, so to speak. And me being one of them. So that's something I like. I pat myself. All hell no.
We've talked around the Debbie and James vote. Is there anything else about those votes you want to talk about?
So I heard James and Blake both talk about like this vibe that they had.
Yeah.
I don't really think that was really a thing. I believe their perception of what was really going on was the farthest thing from the truth in a way. And no disrespect to them, like everybody's perception is different and everybody's game is different. But one thing I did notice is James and Blake, they slept a half hour before tribal. They would get up. By this time, I didn't sleep at all. I burnt my leg tending the fire at 2 a.m. You know what I mean? 3 a.m. I didn't sleep at all. And there's a couple of people that did, but there was a couple of people that did it. And by the time they woke up, we already had a plan. So James would get up, oh, you got to do this and you got to do this. And you're just like, yeah, whatever. Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. And that's another thing that aggravated me with James. We had a plan. We were voting James out. The plan was James. And James woke up and he came to me and he asked me, he said, would you vote out Kerry? And I looked at him dead in the eye. I said, absolutely not. I said, I'm the wrong person. And then I said, hey, would you vote out Blake? And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And then he wanted me to vote out Minnesota. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. Blake and James, all they did was talk to each other. You know what I mean? Just constantly talking to each other, and then try and come over, and then I felt like James, especially James, I love the guy to death, but I feel like James felt like he was in way more control than he was. I'm not at all saying that I was in control because I don't know that I was. I just know that people came to me and wanted to know what I wanted to do. If that makes sense. I was not at all in control. I know that people wanted to know what I wanted to do. Was there other plans and other alliances? 100%. But at one point, I guess I could have been I was talking. James brought my name up as a potential first boot. That was never going to happen. I'm going to be honest. That was never going to happen. I love the Pink Tribe was great, but we were so dysfunctional. We lost. Oh, we were so dysfunctional. James wanted to be in charge. James wanted to be in charge. This one wanted to do this. This one wanted to do that. The only thing that I knew how to do was when we lost. I tried to keep the morale high. It's okay that we lost. It's only a reward. We didn't really lose that. Yes, we're not going. I really wanted to go on that boat ride. Oh, did I want to go on that boat ride? That looked like even though it rained and it sucked, but that's something that really sparked my attention.
From Shauna, your tribe was the Hot Mess Express.
Yeah. Yeah, we were. We were a hot mess. But the one thing I always try, and this is one thing I know. I know in order to enjoy victory, you have to feel the agony of defeat, to really enjoy a victory. And boy did we enjoy boy did we get the agony of defeat, 4 times in a row. Like and unfortunately it cost us Debbie. I didn't want to lose anybody. But when we won that stretcher challenge, oh man, it was wonderful. It was so wonderful, and then we won again. We won 2 in a row, and then we can go 3 in a row because like I purposely sent the Green Tribe to tribal first so we could technically get 3 in a row. You know what I mean? Like that was my thinking behind all that. And then we swapped, and then once we swapped, we lost 1, and then we won 3 in a row again. I mean, I think me and Maddie had this thing more than anybody. Because Maddie came with me, and Maddie won what I won and lost what I lost. And Maddie didn't go to the last tribal before merge, and then came back and voted us all out, won. But
had your original Pink Tribe gone to a 3rd tribal council, so this is once James and Debbie are gone, had you gone to a 3rd tribal council, who would have been voted out?
Blake.
Okay.
We had that all planned. So it was Debbie, James, and Blake.
Then from there, who knows?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I still have the idol, so like, I think I scare them. To not vote me. If I get any inclination that it's Minnesota or Kerry, I play the idol on them, and we probably take out Jeff there. I shared a little bit earlier, like my first confessional, there was just something about Jeff. Like, I love the guy. I loved everybody. Like I truly did. But just call it a vibe, call it whatever. Something about Jeff just rubbed me the wrong way. Just I don't even know what it is because he's a great guy, like, and a hell of a competitor. He's very. I enjoyed competing right next to him. Can we talk a little bit about the medicine ball? What do you call it? Steal the bacon?
Steal the bacon? Yeah, let's talk about it. Who'd you go up against?
Can we talk about that a little bit? Okay, yeah. So here's so like, well, we're gonna go back a little bit, like to the stretcher challenge. I noticed. Now I had that little thing in the beginning with Melissa at the outpost.
Yep.
And then, like, as I was walking, we were walking up for the challenge. I noticed Melissa and Tony were talking, just one-on-one, whispering to each other. So in my head, I'm like, all right, they're working together, which is good for me because I want to work with Tony because we have this thing, but I need to get to him to let him know, like, no fucking around this time. Like I know we got some issues, but let's squash it and let's work together. I wasn't able to really talk to them then, but so we play it. We have the steal a bacon challenge. I go up against Danny. I gave him a juke. I lost him and I was gone. And then I go my second time. I stepped up first, and I'm praying to God. I'm going, come on, Tony, step up, please. Like, I wanted him. Like, I wanted Tony to step up. Like, I wanted my shot at Tony. Okay, and it wasn't. But yeah, it was a little personal. I think me and Tony got some issues, and I wanted, and I didn't want the issue to come in, and I kind of figured, if we go at each other, maybe then, maybe then we can, every kind of animosity we had toward each other, we left on the field. And he stepped up, and granted, when I gave him a juke, I should have probably added a spin move to it, and I would have probably, I could have Bo Jackson them right to the end zone, but I didn't. And we went at it, and I think we had a pretty physical, probably the most physical male competition. Trinica and Jordan take the cake. Like, they were fucking complete badasses, and like, so was Minnesota. Minnesota was an absolute badass in that challenge, and Jeff as well. But like, when me and Tony went at it, like we exerted so much, like, I wasn't trying to let him win. He wasn't trying to let me win. At one point I flipped him. He got me. I think he tried to pull my pants all down for at one point, and then he tried to get away, and I dragged his leg back. And, we were just going back and forth. One point we were just wrestling. The ball was way over there. We were just wrestling. And I smoked a lot of cigarettes. Well, I did. I was pretty tired. And at this point, like, I didn't have any, like, it was whatever, man. And, Tony's like, let me have it. And I'm like, fuck it, go. But he went over there and he laid down and he was dead tired. And I was dead tired. And I felt like that was my opportunity, because I can go look like I'm going to see if he's okay. So I used that, and I went and like, dude, are you all right? And as I'm over there, nobody's thinking I'm over here. Like, nobody knows I know Tony at this point.
Yeah.
I didn't tell anybody. So, like, at this point, like, I used that to my advantage. I said, hey, no bullshit, right? Like, 100%. Like, I got you, you got me. Like, and I feel like that's where we locked it in. Like, once we got to each other, we knew we were good. But I needed that to happen because of the past that we had. Like, I mean, if I could make a list of people that I didn't want to see there, that I knew, he was on top of the list. Okay. But now that it has happened, boy, am I glad it was him. Like, even Stanley was like, you remind me of Pete and me when we were, you know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, we hated each other. But like, I mean, I'm so glad it was, because, like, I mean, I really got to know him and he really got to know me. And I truly think we both like each other. You know what I mean? We don't think we're a bunch of idiots. You know what I mean? So I think, but like that challenge was grueling, yet it did a lot for me, like, for my relationship with Tony,
So when you swap to your new tribe, right? And so you're with Ethan, Melissa Trinica, Jeff, Maddie P, and Jordan. Do you know immediately, like, hey, I'm going to flip? Or was that like something that you decided after losing that initial blindfold challenge?
All right. So one thing I did was keep it a secret that we had a little thing happen at the outpost. I never told nobody, me and Trinica. And that's the first thing I said to Trinica and to Melissa. Was like, look, I didn't tell nobody that this happened. And I was hoping that we would come together. So I was never going to vote Melissa or Trinica in any situation. But I also wanted to play like, like we had the majority, like, on paper, it looked like we were good. Did I know I was going to do it? I don't know. Like, I really caught the vibe from this other tribe, and I felt like I was part of Okina, like, and with Nokana, I felt like I was good with a few people, but I didn't feel like I was part of that. I felt more part of right from the start, like of Okina, and I think I knew, like, like, soon as we lost, Melissa, like, she was down the hill a little bit, and as soon as we lost, I went right down there and I said, listen, promise me that you won't lie to me and vote me out, but I want to flip. And she looked at me like, really? And I'm like, yes, 100%. And I gave her the name. I said, let's vote Jeff. And she was like, okay. And then we brought Ethan in. Now, Ethan flipped and voted Melissa.
I know.
In that scenario. And Ethan told Maddie that I was flipping, and Maddie told, apparently Maddie told Jeff or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Maddie told Jeff told Jordan.
Jeff told Jordan, and, it is what it is, but it still worked out in our way. Could I have played my idol that time and saved Jeff, and we could have voted out Ethan there? Yeah, probably. You know what I mean? Things could have been a lot different. But why? Like, at that point, like, I thought, I didn't know Ethan was going to flip. I wanted to flip with the green. And after we voted Jeff out, it was like we went on this, and Tony came over. That was perfect for me.
Mm-hmm.
Tony came over. I finally got to work with Tony before merge, which
Mm-hmm.
was very important because we were able to build,
Yep.
whatever. And then we went on this rampage and won. And
Mm-hmm.
if Charlie wasn't like a fish, we might have had a chance to, win the last one too, which would have been ideal because Matty P at that point would have been with us 100%.
Mm-hmm.
If we win that last challenge, we go in as Okina 6, and we were the Musty Misfits. That was the name of our.
How did that name come about?
So right before the last challenge, we thought we were merging, because they took forever to come. That's when we started seeing people, and we were just laughing and joking. We were having the best time ever. It was the best time I had the whole game. We were just sitting in our shelter, and we were laughing, and we were all just telling jokes and just laughing. Maddie kind of burped and farted at the same time. It was absolutely hilarious. I don't. and we all stunk, and we were all mystery, we were all man, we're the, you would never think us would be together, and I don't know how we're like the Misfits, and then there's someone, I forget who said it, but they were like, we're like the Musty Misfits, and we're like the Musty Misfits, and we all shared a moment on that, and we were all gonna do whatever, bond together, and that's when the fake idol thing came. Melissa came back from the outpost. She had the fake idol, and we were gonna hide it, and we were gonna play a trick on everybody, and then we lost.
So I want to talk about the fallout from that Melissa Jeff votes, where it's 3 votes Melissa, 3 votes Jeff. Jeff plays a shot in the dark. Did you know Melissa had an idol? Were you?
No.
And
she didn't know I had one either.
And what was the fallout from this vote? Because you're looking at this 3-3, you're just like, wait, someone must have flipped, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, the fallout was Maddie was mad. Maddie told me I would have flipped with you. I wish you would have told me. And my thing to Maddie was, I wanted to keep your hands. I didn't want to get your hands dirty. You know what I mean? We're still good. And then Jordan was a hot mess because, she felt like she was next. I can't say that she wasn't. You know what I mean? In a situation, because at that point I chose them, but I started to feel a little upset, a little bad about things because she was crying, he was crying, and I felt like I made everybody cry, and I didn't want to make everybody cry, and and then I'm like, oh shit, did I make the right decision? Because now my thing is, okay, now I join these guys, but now where do I sit with these guys? Did I make the right choice? Am I on the bottom of them? But then I felt like I had a thing with Melissa. I felt like me and Melissa's thing, we became pretty tight when I decided to flip with her. And then when Tony came, that made it even better. But I was, and then the whole mutiny advantage and this and that, it was a hot mess over by the barn or whatever it was. It was, it was everybody was crying, everybody was this, and it was just, and one of the things I said, everybody was crying and everybody was worried, and I looked up at Melissa and Trinica and Ethan. I was like, at least we got donuts back at the camp. You know what I mean? Because prior to that tribal, me and Maddie got selected to go to the outpost. And we went to the outpost, and there was a box of donuts, and it was Minnesota and German. We went with. There was a box of donuts. I'm like, guys, I only got 5 tokens, and I really want those donuts. And they're like, you can have the donuts. I'm like, all right. And me being me, I looked at German. I'm like, German, do me a favor. I will keep whoever you want safe, or I will try to do my best to keep whoever you want safe. safe on that side, on my side. You'll keep Kerry and Minnesota safe for me. And I wasn't trying to like I think when Minnesota explained like I was trying to be like I wasn't. I was legit trying just to like make a proposal that hopefully I keep your people safe, you keep my people safe, and maybe we can bring our people
a Rob
together.
and Lex agreement.
Yes, and maybe we could bring our people together. And we got the donuts, and now Maddie, now we leave. Now Maddie's like, Carl, come on. And I'm like, what's up, dude? He's like, we gotta hurry up. Now I got the box of donuts. They're chocolate donuts. It's 100 degrees out.
All the chocolate's melting.
Donuts. All right, it's 100 degrees. Maddie got me running. Amos is fucking running after us. And we got this box of donuts, and he's like, Carl, I think I know where the idol was. And he's like, all right, but if I get the idol, you got one. Can I have this one? And I'm like, yeah, sure. But deep down, I'm like, if I find this fucking idol, it's my idol. Dude. Like, at the end of the day, like, let's be honest. Like, if I find the idol, I'm keeping that one too. Like, I'm sorry. But like, I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then, so we get to like, I don't know if you know, there's this tree. You had to hop. That's like these. This tree that had like 3 branches, you had to hop over to go to in the camp. At that point, it split. Maddie was convinced that this is where the idol was. Now, Maddie would point, dig here, dig there. Now, I put the donuts on top of the log, and Maddie's going, dig there. And I'm digging. My hands are fucking black at this point, okay, because I'm digging in mud. And finally, I looked at Maddie and said, Maddie, you dig. Like you dig. Like you're not digging at all. Maddie's just pointing and telling me where to dig. No idol, nothing. My hands are absolutely black at this point. But now I look at the donut. All the chocolate has now melted off the donuts. Now they're just glazed donuts. And we show up like, I'm like, we got donuts. My hands are absolutely black. I got black hands and glazed donuts at this point. Everybody was just happy we had donuts. But, I washed my hands real quick. But like, that was another funny experience, thing with Maddie. Maddie was so much fun to play with. he was just so much fun. There's one video, and Parker kept telling me about it, and I finally saw it, and it was I'm walking like this, and Maddie's talking. Maddie talks with his hands, and he's talking, and you got me walking like this, and I'm like, Maddie, it's absolutely funny. I'm really sad that I had a vote, that I voted Maddie out, and I kind of understand why he voted me, and then Tony, and then Melissa, and then Ethan, and then Trinica. Like, I get it. Like, like I totally, and I think we all voted for him to win. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure we did. I'm not really 100%, but I'm
you
sure
all did.
He was one of us. Like, at the end of the day, he was a musty misfit. Like, and I'm happy one of us won. So technically, one of my original pink won, and a musty misfit won. So like, I was completely happy with that. Do I wish it was me? 100%. Like 100%. Like, I came into this game to win the game. Like I had no other things I wanted out of this game. Like I went to Hornbeat to absolutely win this game. Like I am motherfucking King Carl, and I am coming to dominate my kingdom. You know what I mean? And I didn't, but but I mean, I think Minnesota said it too. And, Pete said it to me, you don't need the crown, you don't have to wear a crown to be a winner. And, I did everything I wanted here. I did it all. Like, I proved to myself, to everybody, I found a new me. I found a whole new version of me, in the woods for the 6 days I was there, and then the 2 days in the house. I found a whole different version of Carl. I've since now quit smoking and did all that. I've been, and I just have a whole new drive because of it. I want another opportunity. Like I have some unfinished business, and I think I think I proved myself that I'm not saying I deserve one. Like I thought I deserved to be on the cover. I didn't get that, so who knows? You never know. Do I think I deserve another chance? 100%. But that's not up to me. It's up to the production. It's whatever they decide. But I'll bring the fire. I promise you. You know what I mean?
So in the 3 rounds that you win that crate endurance community challenge, you win hot pursuit, there's a beanbag toss puzzle challenge, you win these challenges. Are you strategizing at camp, or is a foregone conclusion Natty P is the
We're
best?
just at the end of the day, I kind of felt safe. I knew I kind of felt safe. If we were to lose, I felt like Maddie was 100% going to be the vote.
What was your relationship in game with Ethan like? Because he's going to be a player he's going to vote for you in that Maddie vote.
Yeah. I loved Ethan. I loved. It was good. It was good. Like it wasn't. I can't say like we were besties, but we were definitely really cool. And we joke around because we're like the only 2 straight people here. Like, you know what I mean? No disrespect at all, but you know what I mean? And after he did vote for me, he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, "Just don't do it again." I absolutely loved the Okina 5 because I felt part of the whole tribe versus I didn't feel 100% part of the Nokana tribe. Like I felt safe because I felt I was in with the right people. But I didn't feel as good as I felt with the Okina 5 or 6. And and I think we said this in the tribal we voted Maddie out it was the best damn tribe I've ever been part of. Orgs, you name it, orgs and my first LRG. It was absolute that we laughed, we joked. I mean, funny story. we were hungry after one of the challenges, and I think it was right after we voted Maddie out, and we were hungry, so we cooked rice. We cooked some rice, and they cooked the rice, and they went to take the rice off the fire, and Maddie had put like a wet roll of toilet paper by the fire to dry out, and nobody really knew about it. And when they went to take the pot off the fire, the pot hit the roll of toilet paper and dumped over, and everyone's like, "Fuck it," and they went to bed. And I'm staring at the rice on the ground, and I'm looking at Tony, and I'm looking at the rice, and I'm looking at Tony. I said, "Tony, I ate fucking worms. I ate an egg. I don't give a shit about a little dirt." He's like, "I think the same thing." And me and Tony ate that rice right off the ground. I had every bit dirt and all. I didn't care at that point. We were hungry. And at this point, listen, I ate worms. I ate 100-year-old egg. What's a little dirt going to do to me?
Exactly.
Like at the end of the day, but it was just the best tribe. Like I just feel like we were so close. We laughed. Everybody was close with each other. Everybody just liked each other. I felt. I do feel like we would have ate each other. We come merge, we weren't going to go 6 strong to the end. We were definitely, we would have definitely flip flopped and played and played the game with everybody. So to speak. We would have played, then just pick off them one at a time. We would have definitely played the game with everybody. That's not the way the other side wanted to play. I look at it like I kind of feel like that side wanted to play Friendviver and we wanted to play Survivor in a way. And and to each his own. Like everybody's entitled to play their own game and play how they want to play. That's just not the way that I like to play. Like I don't really like sticking together and going all the way. Like I wanna mix it up a little bit. Like I want to be able to play with everybody. Like I wanted to have a little play with German. I wanted to have a little play with Hannah. I wanted to have a little play with Charlie. I wanted to use this experience to get you get to know everybody and play with everybody a little bit. Like that's kind of what it's about. Like it's not just about, just winning the game. It's about, I met some wonderful people out there, man. These are some wonderful people, man. And I would have, like Hannah, me and Hannah just seems like such a cool person. And like, we really never really talked to each other. We just lied to each other. I really wish we could have, and same thing with German. I wish me and German could have like worked together a little bit, me and Charlie attempted to, but it just, it just didn't pan out. That's just how I play the game. And I feel like that's how the Okina, we're going to play the game. And we were just, I think we were probably, maybe I could be wrong, but it's my opinion. We were, the strongest players in the game, I think. And the challenges proved that. Like we absolutely kicked ass. You know what I mean? Like, and I do feel like we were kind of like the big threats in the game, some challenge wise, some just, physical, some just, being able to talk, I think we were, probably the biggest players in the game were in that alliance. And not that, listen, and that's not taken from the, what do they call themselves? The Breakfast Club or whatever.
Breakfast Club, yep.
I mean, that's not taken from them. There's some pretty iconic players there too. Like, I just feel I wish they would have gave us more of a fighting chance. I think it would have spiced the game up a little bit. I think, but it worked out for them. Yes, we were in the jury house. How boring. We were talking shit. Like we were absolutely talking shit. But like, they did what we couldn't do. And that's the bottom line. Like, some people I feel like made some wrong decisions, and I think it bit them in the ass in the long run. But I'm proud of all six of them, and I'm very proud of their games, as they should be as well. I'm very proud of our final three. I'm very proud of Maddie. I'm very proud of Sandra. I'm very proud of Charlie. I'm very proud of Curry. I'm very proud of Hannah. I'm very proud of German. They did what I couldn't do. Would I love to be a person that did it with them? Absolutely. Like, you know what I mean? Like, absolutely. Like, I want to play ball. The way I'm a wild card, man. I vote whatever. Like, at the end of the day, like, I don't think I would have voted. I would have, I say I wouldn't have voted Tony or Melissa, but I would have did whatever I had to do to survive. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, I came to this game for one thing in mind, and that was to win. And I win at all costs. I didn't necessarily come here to make friends, but I did make friends. So, I was willing to play ball. They just weren't. And it worked out for them. Good for them. I had a blast in the jury room. It was absolutely an iceberg in there. And I did get voted out twice, so I did get a bed. So there's that. Like, I had a bed. So there was only two beds. And Minnesota had one, and I had the other one. And three. And Tony had one. So that's the perks of getting out one. The first three out, you get a bed. But it was an absolute iceberg in there. It was an absolute iceberg in there. It was, and they didn't like the fact that I ran out to have a cigarette every 5 minutes, with or without permission. It really didn't matter to me. Like, people wanted to talk to you. Of course, all the pre-jury wanted to talk to you, and you can't talk to them. It was absolutely fun. Like, production is absolutely kicked ass, and like, I don't know that I play another LRG unless it's Reelfoot, like, because of the effect it's had on me.
I have a couple questions to dig into your merge experience. Were you actually looking for an idol at the merge camp or around the merge feast? Or at that point, you kind of mentioned, the exhaustion was setting in end of day 5.
I knew it. We all discussed this before we went, like the Musty Misfits. all discussed this, that listen, it's going to be at the merge feast, the clue. We have to find the clue. The damn thing was in the French fries, right?
Yep.
I stuck my hand in the French fries, put them in my plate, and gave the freaking bowl to Carrie. Like literally, like that's how close it was to me. Like it was right there. Like I didn't even like I just here you go, here you go. And and she literally grabbed it and put it in her pocket, like it was right there. So I did look a little bit, but by the time we got back to the camp, it was it was getting dark, and I was the fire really sucked, and I wanted to build us a fire to keep us warm, and I was splitting wood, and I laugh a little bit because I went back and watched things, and I watched some. They don't show none of my confessionals, but they definitely show some of Carrie's, and Carrie was like, she called me a puppy dog at one point, and like I was, what is it? I was always looking at her, which yes and no. I was trying to figure her out because of what Tony had told me, like, oh, she's not really with you, And then I had her hold the flashlight for me as I was splitting wood, and I didn't know that was a bad thing, And I am like absolutely no sleep, So I don't know, like hold the flashlight, I'll split the wood, nothing more than that. But if that was her reason, then so be it. Like it is what it is. Like, it worked out wonderful for her.
That night you have that overnight endurance challenge. How long did you last?
So here's the problem with that. I had no idea what we were going to do. I had shorts and a tank top on.
See, it was freezing.
Yes, and it was freezing. And I was super tired. We had just ate. So my belly was actually full. And I'm like, I don't want to sit here. And I looked at Tony, and Tony's like, I'm like, are you staying? He's like, I'm going to go as long as I can. I looked at him and said, I'm not. Like, I'm out. As soon as they say we can go, I'm going. And then he's like, I think I'm going to do the same thing. And that's what we did. And I think you'd be so at least half of us, as soon as they said we could drop, we dropped. And good for Ethan and Minnesota. They absolutely kicked ass.
Yep.
So, and I wish I would have pushed a little harder on the second one, because I guess I got a little bit of nerve damage, the car accident I was in, and my hand started shaking. And they looked so rock solid, and I was just like, and I felt good. I felt like it wasn't going to be me. Like when they voted me out, it was a complete blindside. Like I was completely shocked that it was me.
Yeah, because what's interesting is I was looking at the list. Like every single member of your alliance played their shot in the dark except for you.
Yeah, I didn't think I needed to. I didn't think I needed to. I felt like I was, like I legit thought I was gonna. It wasn't gonna be me. I felt like it was gonna be Tony or Melissa that run, and they came after me. I felt like I didn't think I knew. I thought I had enough connections with Sandra, with Carrie, and who else? Maddie. I kind of figured Maddie. I kind of figured Maddie would, but I didn't know if Sandra or I 100% thought Carrie would tell me. And gave me a heads up to play my shot in the dark. You know what I mean? But bad read, my part, I guess. It is what it is.
I mean, you talked often that you were trying to pull Carrie over. Was Carrie ever trying to pull you over the vote with them?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So what she did tell me was we had to lay low. People were perceiving us as a power duo, as a duo. And I kept I didn't really lay low. I always wanted to, and she is right at this. I wanted to. I was calling her over. I wanted to talk to her, because in my mind, I'm trying to figure out like what the hell's going on. And I would give her a name, and then she would give me a name, but she when I got voted out, she gave me Tony's name,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't Tony, it was me.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that like if she would have tried to pull me over, I probably would have voted,
Mm-hmm.
that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like because like I felt like, okay, if you don't want to vote with us, I'll vote with you.
Mm-hmm.
But like me and her could have did what Charlie wanted to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just not the way it played out. And I did ask her why, and I don't know. Like she said, well, you would have beat me. I don't necessarily think so. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Like I think Gary is an absolute badass and great in this game. Like and like her game, she won a multiple. She made some pretty big moves. She took me out. She took at one point she took Minnesota out.
Mm-hmm.
She made a lot of moves. You know. And she won some individual immunities. Like I think she had a case, and
Mm-hmm.
and I would 100% like given the opportunity. Like I told Tony, like at one point, like me, him, Melissa, and Carrie for like a final four, like we could be like, but they never put the work in. According to Carrie, they never put the work in.
Yeah.
For that. But like, I would have probably chose Carrie over those, over them and let them, and I would have liked to sit in the end next to her. Although I would have really liked to sit next to Tony as well, just because the org community would have went absolutely nuts seeing me and Tony, because we're absolute rivals. And the fact that we were working together, like, trust me, when I got home and I talked to my buddies, there's memes about me and Tony fighting each other. You know what I mean? Like in the thing, there's just like, it's absolutely funny to me, and like me and Tony talked about that too. Like the York community got to be going nuts, because I know there's many different communities, but we definitely are from the same community, so like he's definitely someone I wanted to sit next to. Melissa scared me, but I love Melissa. Like I would have gladly lost to Melissa. I would have gladly lost to Tony. I would have gladly lost to Carrie. You know what I mean? Like my ego says I could have beat all three of them. Is that the truth? How many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Roll Pop? The world will never know. You know what I mean? Like,
So now that you're on the jury, talk to me about your philosophy as a juror. What do you look for in a winner that you're going to vote for?
I like moves. I like, kind of like my question, like in my jury question, like I played this game with my pants on fire. Like, I was all over the place. Like, tell me what what you did to play this game with your pants on fire. I don't like, behind the scenes stuff. I like, I believe, moves matter. I believe, immunity wins, matter, and I believe connections matter. So I vote for who I think played the best game, and that was Maddie to me. Maddie just absolutely, like, I didn't vote for Maddie because he was a musty misfit. I voted for Maddie because Maddie absolutely did what he had to do to get to the end. And I think he took the right two people to the end. I don't think he beats German. I don't think he beats Carrie. And I don't know much about Hannah. But I think his game was a little more polarizing to me than Sandra's and Charlie's were. But I also didn't really work that tightly with Charlie or with Sandra. Like, even though we were like on a tribe together, me and Sandra, we really, it was kind of like, hey, you're old, I'm old type of thing. You like the Red Sox, I like the Yankees. It wasn't really, we weren't really in an alliance, so to speak. And I just felt like I seen Maddie's game a little bit more than I seen their game.
Yeah. Was there anything that was said at Tribal Council that swayed you or changed your mind, or were you leaning Maddie going into it, and the final Tribal Council kind of confirmed where you were leaning?
I was leaning Maddie going in. I really had an open mind though, because I wanted to hear what how people talked and answered questions and how they said their speeches. You know,
Mhm.
so I paid attention to what everybody said, and I believe Matty just answered the questions the best. I believe
Mhm.
he had the best speech. You know, at one point, like I considered maybe voting for Charlie.
Mhm.
Because I like Charlie. Like I just at the end of the day, like I just wanted to vote for Matt. Like I went in with an open mind, but I kind of knew where my vote was going. But it was able to be swayed.
Mhm.
It wasn't swayed. It wasn't swayed enough to make me not want to vote for Maddie.
Did you think it was going to be an 8-1-1 vote, or did you think it would have been closer?
Uh, from what the jury, I mean, I was pretty confident that at least the five of us were all voting
Mhm.
for Maddie. Like,
Mhm.
even though we all had an open mind.
Mhm.
But I think that's to speak about to Maddie too, because
Mhm.
I didn't know that would be an 8-1-1. Like I
Mhm.
thought it could have been a little closer.
Mhm.
Um, but that speaks to Maddie. Like Maddie sold. Maddie is the one that I. Maddie sold everybody. Maddie did
Mhm.
that. You know, and after it was all said and done, I almost I was like Maddie absolutely killed Final Tribal.
Mhm.
Like I thought he did, and uh, he earned that. He earned that win, and I'm very proud to uh, to know that he was a close ally of mine, and
Mhm.
one of my buddies won.
Mhm.
Eh, I still wish it was me, but you know, but,
This is
like
an okay outcome.
yeah, but it's all right. A musty misfit won, and one of uh the Okino 2.0 one, so it worked out
So how was the post game for you?
post game. What do you mean?
Yeah. Or the after party?
The after party was nice. I enjoyed the silent auction. Like I got the things I wanted to get, and
Mhm.
where I was finally able to talk to the pre-jury, and you know, I just enjoyed my whole experience there. Like it was absolutely wonderful. The food was good, the beer went down great. You know, it was it was nice to party with all these people that
Mhm.
were or were not your allies or enemies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Friend or foe. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Living in the woods. Living in the woods with people really changes. Really changes you. Like I'm not a big avid camper. I have been camping, but I haven't done extreme camping like that before. You wouldn't believe it, but that was the first time I ever swung a machete like that. I just
Mhm.
I just figure it out on the go. Uh, I did enjoy it. Uh, it's definitely not for everybody.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people that would not be able to last an hour out there. Like, let's talk about the lightning and the rattlesnake and the mud and the pouring rain and just I mean, we went from some highs and some lows, and you know it was one of the best experiences of my life, to date. I'm 100% glad I did it. Uh, I always said to myself, I didn't want to play a live game till I played Real Survivor. Like in my mind, like that was
Mhm.
it. But I needed to. It was like I did my research on Reelfoot. It was probably the closest thing to Survivor out of
Mhm.
all the ones I did look at. Josh playing twice. My buddy, a couple other buddies of mine played that I know. I can't reveal them because who knows, I might end up playing with them, and I don't want people to know I know them. So
To come back and re-listen to this podcast,
yeah,
say,
yeah,
now we have a hit list of all of Carl's allies.
I don't want to blow anything up just yet. No, but there are
Yeah,
some.
I assume I'm doomed.
Yeah, No, we're good, right? No.
Well, given I'll have talked to every player in the past 4 years for 2 hours, people might have thoughts about that.
Yeah, you know everybody. Yeah, you got it. I played with a host one time. That absolute that was like that did like interviews like you did, and absolutely knew everybody's game. You know what I mean? Going into the game. Because you spill all the beans to that guy, and the guy had like a photographic memory, so he remembered
Oh man,
everything.
that's impressive.
Yeah, but
yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about CBS Survivor. Do you plan on continuing to apply for that?
100%. As a matter of fact, like I don't know, you know, the experience that I had on playing Reelfoot, came home and just like everything I was able to accomplish out there on like I said, I feel like the only thing I didn't do out there was win.
Mm-hmm.
It really showed me that I got what it takes. Like, you know, I think I could 100%, do it. And I came home and I made another video, I sent it out with the other million that are going in, and who knows, maybe I get it, maybe I get a call back this time, maybe I don't, but I will continue to try for Survivor till I am physically and mentally incapable of doing it, because it is my absolute dream. Like, these are all just stepping stones for me to get to my ultimate dream, and it is to be on CBS, watching King Carl, or just Carl, or Crazy Carl, like Minnesota like to call me, on the island, just doing me, being Chaos Carl on the island, that's kind of like where I'm at. And I do feel like I have the personality to or not the personality, just who I am. I think I stand out a little bit, and not that nobody else does either, but I think I have the wow effect in a way, and maybe they do, maybe they don't. So yeah, I will continue.
Do you feel like your experience in Reelfoot has changed your understanding of playing Survivor, or watching Survivor?
The one thing I did learn is, maybe I tone it down a bit, maybe well, not just because like I'm so loud and this and that, but also like I noticed, like come merge, like I was tired, like I was worn out, like come merge, because like I put a lot of energy, like in, like I was constantly cutting, like, and it takes a lot. Like I was chopping down trees, like I was, at one point on Okina, I had a wood pile, like a legit wood pile of like big wood, big logs, and little logs, that I chopped with the machete, and it's tiring. While everybody's sleeping, I'm chopping woods and going into woods and dragging trees out, and constantly keeping the fire going, constantly doing this, constantly, so like maybe tone it down and just like let other people do some stuff too, like I don't have to do it all, because like I think I missed out on a lot of talk, because I was too busy, in the woods grabbing this or grabbing that or grabbing, getting wood, chopping wood. I also felt like I was pretty good at it, and probably then, I think I was better than some people at chopping wood, and I think I used the machete a little better. And I think my work ethic, because of I'm used to physical labor, like that's what I do for a living. So like it's nothing to me. Like I work hard, 9 hours a day, 6 days a week. So like it's nothing for me to do a little bit. Do like physical manual labor. But maybe I tone it down a little bit, and maybe I just lay around camp a little bit. Maybe I let other people do it. Maybe I don't fight people over, how we should build the shelter, and let them build the shelter. Maybe I don't. Maybe I bring my voice down a little bit. But that's easier said than done. I got a motor mouth. I said it in my Meet Me video. I mean, I nailed me to the T. Like, I would love to do that, but I know me. Like, and it's just like get like I was like a little kid. Like I was in awe just being out there, being in the woods and playing Survivor. It
Mhm.
was everything to me. Like it was like a dream come true for me. You know, I mean, a lot of people played this game because they've played multiple games and they've done this. Well, it was my first time, and man, it was like I was literally living out a dream. Like I've been trying for Survivor for 6 years, I'd have to say.
Mhm.
Uh, um, and I really didn't. I think a lot of it had to do with I had a lot of bad stuff happen to me. Childhood trauma, stuff like that. And I used to think like that was the reason I would get cast for Survivor,
Mhm.
and I never really gave him the essence of who I am.
Mhm.
Just what I went through, and playing Reelfoot, living a dream because like it's
Mhm.
absolutely everything I want in life is to be on Survivor. I mean, that's everybody has a dream, and that's mine. Uh, I really learned who I was,
Mhm.
and the person I was. I look rough and tough, but I'm really a big teddy bear. Like I'm a crybaby. Like I cried my eyes out
Mhm.
there. I must have cried 5 times, like in tears, like at tribal, at camp, you know what I mean? Like I just, lack of sleep or whatever.
Mhm.
I don't know, but I learned so much, and I really learned uh, who I am as a person. Not just the what I put out to people.
Mhm.
It really it made you real. It broke me down in so many different ways, like physically, mentally, even spiritually. Like I just uh, I was able to come home and be at peace, like with my father's passing.
Mhm.
I feel like that really helped. I feel like I came home and I felt a little closer to to God, like in a way. There's some people that don't feel that don't believe. But I do. I have a faith. And I believe it strengthened my bond there. It helped me deal with, you know, the the just the everything about losing my father. He was my last parent, just and I was able to come to terms with that. I was able to make some new friends. I was able to prove to myself I can push myself to limits that I never knew I had. I held a crate for over an hour with my foot. God knows how. I did. I found an idol. I ate some nasty shit. Like, and I was pretty competitive in all those
Mhm.
challenges. And I believe like I motivated a lot of people like to do better. Like I coached basketball. I coached my son's basketball team for years. We won multiple championships. It's just pretty cool. But even when we were losing, I tried to keep everybody's morale up. Everybody's, don't worry, we'll get them next time. Don't worry, you know what I mean? Because people were getting down. I just constantly tried to lift people's spirits, and it just really taught me of who I am as a person. And I mean, I'm super grateful for the experience. I kind of. It's so hard to explain if you've never done it. You could never understand it,
Mhm.
but like I've done it, and like I've witnessed and experienced this stuff with my own eyes.
Well, Carl, is there anything that you want to talk about that we haven't had a chance to get to?
I feel like we covered a lot. I just feel like you know it was it like I said, like this game was it's just amazing to me. Just the production, the way that and it wasn't just the players; it was the production team. Like
Mhm.
I do want to talk, like you know, I loved everybody. Like I loved Trevor. Like Trevor was my first handler. You know, and like Austin, I absolutely love Austin. My first, and one of the things I said to Austin, right, when we swapped, I said to Austin, I said, "What's up, buddy?" And like, and I feel like a lot of people look at Austin and they're like, "Oh, that's the winner." I looked right at him. I said, "I'm coming for your fucking crown." Like that's what I said. That was my first words I
Good.
said.
Put him in his place.
Yeah, I said, "Listen, I'm coming for it." Like and Parker's another one. Nathan, Aaron, Nate, everybody, like everybody.
Mhm.
Pete. Oh my God, like Pete. Uh, Pete. I think I told you, me and Pete yelled at me one time for sneaking. Josh is another one. Everybody was just amazing. Pete got on me so much, and after the game, I thank God for Pete. Like Pete has become like um somebody in my life that I feel I didn't know I needed that I have now. And it's the little things, it's the little messages I get from him. It's
Mhm.
you know uh him supporting me and like the quitting smoking, the this, the that, and I feel like he's just like unexpected. Like I didn't expect going in that like I would have a relationship like I do with Pete. Like he was the
Mhm.
last one I expected. Like I thought like, with with Austin or with Trevor, because like they're more people like me, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And little did I know Pete's more like me than, he's a little older, but but I really thank God. I'm really thankful for Pete. Like, he's helped me in ways that like I don't even think he realizes.
Mhm.
Without him, I can't say that I quit smoking. I can't say that I do all this, and mine is the broken toe I have right now. But that's the competitive nature in me will never go away. But you know, but uh, I don't know. I'm just thankful. I'm thankful I got to play Reelfoot. Sorry, my people are calling me. But
Well,
I'm thankful. I'm thankful for everything, about this game, and
mhm.
you know, and I don't have any regrets. I made some stupid moves. I think, or maybe not stupid. You can't say stupid. I can say I think I could have. Uh,
Made some suboptimal moves.
I think I could have played s- different,
Mhm.
differently in certain situations. But I'm very happy and very proud of the game I played. I believe I left it all out on the table. I believe I played with my heart and my soul. I believe I put it all on the line.
Mhm.
I believe I showed that I was caring. I believe I showed that I was competitive. I showed a lot. I thought I wanted to win this game. I thought that was when it was either win or or nothing else. Win at all costs. And
Mhm.
and it's not. It's not about that. It's more about the experience and what you take from
Mhm.
it. And and you know, I feel in my own way. I won. I'm a winner. I feel like I don't have the crown, but I experienced and did everything I wanted to do.
Mhm.
So in my eyes, Maddie has that crown, and he's well deserving of it. But I think in one way or another, each of us have won in
Mhm.
our own way. You know what I mean? Because there's something that we'll always have, and we'll always have each other, and we'll always be season 12, the
Mhm.
Decennium. And you know what? And we were one badass group. Like we were. And we absolutely, every single one of us kicked ass from the winner
Mhm.
to the first boot. We were all great people. And, I'm so glad that they cast the cast they did, because like everybody on it was amazing. And I'm just super grateful that I got to meet and got to play and got to compete against these wonderful people. Um, who knows? Maybe we see each other again in another season. Maybe not. Maybe we see somebody,
Mhm.
one of us, even if it's not me on CBS. Who knows? Because there's quite a few people there that I think deserve a shot just as much as I do. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I'm just, and this is really cool too. I love that we
Mhm.
get to talk about like what you were like. I was looking forward to this so much because,
I'm glad.
you know,
So I have some final rapid fire questions to throw at you.
uh,
So, who surprised you the most in your cast?
Maddie,
Who do you wish you had a chance to work with but didn't?
Danny,
How come?
why? I know Danny.
Mhm.
I never really got the opportunity
Mhm.
to work with him. Another one would be Hannah, but like we had the opportunity, we just never did. So like
Mhm.
Danny, I never got the we we never got on the same side. Hannah, we merged together. We just never, Hannah seems like she would have been a lot of fun.
Let's say Reelfoot is having a returnee season. What's one player from your season besides yourself you would like to see return and play again?
Tony.
What was your favorite challenge of the season?
I like that. What was it? The one where we had to toss
the vertical ball.
Yeah, no. When we had to toss the beanbag, like everybody held the thing out, and then we had to build a puzzle at the end. But I really enjoyed like the beanbag toss. I really got a chance. I really wish I had a chance to play that the break the tiles one, because like I'm so good at beer pong, and I think I'd be pretty good at that.
What was the favorite camp life moment that maybe we didn't talk about?
One of my I had quite a few experiences. There was a time on Okina. Everybody was sleeping, I think, and I couldn't sleep. And Melissa, really, I don't think she could sleep either. And like we had a little log, and I just, I feel like me and Melissa just like talked, sat in front of the fire. We both put and I just feel like, that, and the Maddie experience was the Maddie time. That was wonderful. There's just so much. Like I loved camp life. It was a lot of fun. There's a few.
If you could go back in time and give yourself one piece of advice, what would that be? Back in time before the game began.
Before the game began?
Yeah. So you can go back in time and tell yourself one thing before the game began.
Learn how to shut your mouth.
like any plan, it's hard once you start playing to like do all the things you like. I need to do this, but it just kind of goes all out when you hit contact.
Once you hit once your boots hit the ground, like it's all bets are off. Like because like for me, I felt like my like as soon as we hit camp, I felt like I hit the beaches of Fiji. Like I'm not even lying to you. Like that's how it felt to me.
What is one question you'd like me to ask Tony when I interview him next?
If I didn't let him win that, if I didn't agree to let him go, did you think he could have beat me if I didn't let him go?
So if you didn't,
I don't know. Was it as good for me? Like I don't know. I really don't know. Like I wish. I think me and him, we basically, we're good. But I don't know. Ask him. I'd like to know what he thought when he saw me on the cast.
Okay, I can do that.
I'd like to know that.
Carl, I think that's all I have. I just want to say thank you so much for spending this time to talk with me and explain your game. I really appreciate hearing your story and your experience. I'm thrilled that Reelfoot was such a transformative, amazing experience for you.
No, it really was. It was amazing, and like I would do it again in a heartbeat. Like if you told me like, hey, let's we're playing again next week, I'd get in my truck and drive 5.5 hours. I'd be in the woods tomorrow. Do it again. It's just it was that much to me.
Yeah. And Sean also wants to chime in and say great game as well. But yeah, so
it was awesome. For her too.
Carl, once again, thank you so much. Thank you everyone who is tuning in. This has been another Surviving Reelfoot, the Decennium deep dive interview. This is one of many. You can find the previous ones on YouTube or podcast apps, and there are more to come. I'll be talking to Tony next week on Wednesday. So get excited. So again, Carl, thank you. Hail to the king, and have a good night, everyone.